Okay, so now we're going to stitch that seam that we've just double-sided taped together. We're going to stitch it around that curve. You'll notice that because you've got one that opposing curves trying to force back to themselves, you're going to have to manipulate by hand and hold together by hand. Your double-sided tape does hold together to some extent. Remember, when you're using your double-sided tape, you use it in dashy lines. You don't just put one whole bit of double-sided tape. You put it in dashy lines, and you don't need to have the double-sided tape joining. You know, you can have, like I did, you can have gaps in the middle where it's not joining. You need to use your hands to manipulate leather. Okay, so we're going to start by stitching up that seam, come around. Our stop sign is actually that notch, which will then stop before 1 centimetre seam allowance. So you're not going to stitch into that 1 centimetre seam allowance, you're going to stop when you get to your notch. Okay, so come on. Make sure the cut edges on cut edges, because you've got two opposing curves. They'll want to move around a little bit, so you might have to manipulate them with your hands, work them so that they sit back on themselves. When you get up to that notch, if you're scared, make sure you walk it in so that you stop where the notch is. So you should have 1 centimetre seam allowance still to go. I'm going to turn one around and back, instead of back tacking, to make sure I don't overrun it. I only want 4 stitches to back tack. Okay, and then out. Make sure you're trimming as you go. I keep saying that every week, but because I'm seeing so many not trimming, trim as you go through that section. Remember, you want to leave that 1 centimetre seam allowance at the end. We're going to do the same with the other one. Now, 1 centimetre seam allowance. If you can't judge, because I don't have a guide on this side, your 1 centimetre seam allowance, you can even draw the line in if you want to. Because I'm coming in from a different direction, it's harder to judge. Once again, edge to edge. Scared of overrunning it, just walk it in. Really important, no, it's not quite a stitch, it's half a stitch. Really important that you get in the same place on both sides, because these two will match back together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the important factor with this, to get your collars matching together so that they actually meet. If they don't match together, that means what you'll get is a hole in that point once you've finished your collar and it's turned back onto itself. What you'll get is a little bit of a hole in there. Okay, so that's why it's really important that you need to stop 1 centimetre at the same 1 centimetre and then 1 centimetre. So don't make this 1 centimetre a big one and that one a small one. They both need to be exactly the same. That point and that point will actually, when you put them together and stitch around them, that point and that point both need to be in exactly the same place. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to open up our seams, which means you're going to have to peel away that double-sided tape, and we're going to pre-rub or pre-bash those seams to get them open through that next seam there. Okay, don't glue them at this stage because you still need to be able to stitch up and stitch up. So don't glue at this stage, but just give it a bit of a pre-rub to open up that seam that you've just stitched. Okay, any questions on that? No? That's stage 1, guys.